The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Welcome to the show. I have a lot to tell you about today, so I'm glad you're with us. Before we get into a bunch of great video and audio that I have that I've been compiling as evidence to you, I want to talk about an unrelated story. We have a situation in Mississippi where, depending on the outcome of a pending court case, Mississippi could start jailing women for miscarriages and stillbirths. And Mother Jones wrote about this, and they cite the story of Nina Buckhalter and her pregnancy, which 31 weeks in led to giving birth to a stillborn girl. Now, 2 months later, a grand jury in Mississippi indicted Buckhalter for manslaughter, and they said, at the time she was 29, she willfully and unlawfully, feloniously killed Haley Jade Buckhalter, a human being, her daughter, her stillborn daughter, by culpable negligence. And what they're talking about is that, according to the district attorney, there was crystal meth, methamphetamine, detected in Buckhalter's system, and that's what caused the baby to be born stillborn. So the state Supreme Court heard oral arguments on this, and they're expected to rule soon about it. Now, this would set huge precedent, Lewis. This is a huge, huge problem, because if prosecutors come out on top here, they would be setting the precedent that unintentional pregnancy loss can be interpreted as a form of homicide. It doesn't mean that it by default will be. It doesn't mean miscarriages by default put you in jail, but it is setting precedent that unintentional pregnancy loss can be a form of homicide, and that's a huge problem.
Well, in a way, and I know the big question is, how will that affect the abortion debate?
That's part of it,
and things of that nature. But we already have homicides when it's someone else killing someone who's pregnant.
Yes.
So in a way, this kind of already exists. This idea of someone being responsible for the murder of an unborn baby.
The issue is that Mississippi has manslaughter laws which were never intended to be used in cases of stillbirth and miscarriage, and there were 4 times between 1998 and 2002 where lawmakers in Mississippi rejected a proposal which would have set specific penalties for damaging a fetus by using illegal drugs. So this has kind of already been rejected. And now, because the court, by its very decision, can set precedent, we could be going against something that presumably has kind of been addressed already in the state. And this is the other issue here is that there is no conclusive evidence, according to a lot of experts, that exposure to drugs in utero can cause miscarriage or stillbirth. So that's the other thing, which is, if you are going to say that the mere use of drugs, which cannot be specifically linked to a miscarriage or stillbirth, can count as homicide, if somebody has a glass of wine and you end up having a stillborn baby, well, all of a sudden you're opening up that door. Listen, if you smoke, right? Sometimes women are ordered, do not exercise because it could pose a risk to the baby. What if you go for a jog, or not a jog, but you go for a brisk walk and you end up having a miscarriage? You violated a doctor's order, presumably, not to exercise, and maybe the fast walking is exercise. You see how the precedent-setting nature of this is very dangerous.
Yes, I think logically, in a case like this, you would only charge someone with this if it was the use of illegal narcotics.
But again, it's a case of, even experts are saying it would be almost impossible to prove that specifically was the reason for a miscarriage, since they happen for so many reasons.
Right.
This really comes down to an article I read on Church and State about Christian fundamentalism and really driving the country into the dark ages. And one of the elements that's addressed there is the element of asserting this kind of patriarchal right to control women. And the article says, to fundamentalists, women are second-class citizens subject to a strict social hierarchy. This can be observed in every stripe of fundamentalism, from Islamic to Christian. And it basically goes, God or Jesus is the head of the man, man is the head of the woman, subject only to God. And this, to me, is yet another way of trying to assert control over women.
Of course, yeah.
That's the reality.